All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. I got Richie joining me tonight. It's been a little bit, Rich. How we doing, man?
We're doing all right, Duke. Can't complain. Getting ready for the draft and everything. How's your week going?
Oh, can't complain. Just been rolling it on Steel City. Got back with Carter last night. There was a lot that's happened in the college football realm. I think that we're at a point to where the rosters are made up and nothing matters. Rules? What rules?
Welcome to a world without rules, as somebody once said in a famous 2008 film.
Yeah, we had the Xavier Lucas stuff, the saga that's going on between him and Wisconsin. We got the NFL draft coming up. We have the power T issues down there at Tennessee. Just some of the things on the rundown for this evening. I think the biggest thing is you had the college can speak today. The college basketball fallout when me and Carter were talking about roster numbers going forward, about what it takes to build a great team. You're seeing that at the SEC level, in their conference, they spent $8 to $10 million on the basketball rosters, and it paid dividends. They made $70 million off the tournament.
That's quite a chunk of change from how much they made in March Madness this past year. I mean, it was a hell of a basketball run.
Because I think 8 of the 16 were SEC schools.
Yeah.
And really, if they divide all that money evenly between all the member institutions, they got half of what they spent back on basketball.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So
that is a lot of money, dude.
And this comes into it as far as some of the things moving forward. I guess we can kick the show right off and kick the doors in and roll the Nico stuff. Are you shocked by what's going on with Nico?
I am not shocked with that. I mean, the guy was average last year. He's not even that good, and he's commanding what, $4 million to be signed somewhere.
I think that it's a case of getting bad advice. I think that that's something that rolls into it. And, Nick Saban said it at the beginning of the year when they were talking about NIL on College Game Day, that there was, you run into the instance that if you pay the wrong guys, this is where you end up.
And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, we got concrete evidence, Duke. They're paying the wrong kid, and he thinks he's worth that much. I thought Heupel was good for Heupel for telling him to go kick rocks.
I think the aspect of Heupel telling him to kick rocks, I think it's a deeper conversation. I think that this is where some of the things that creep in, where you have, whether it be family members or the agents or
Duke, his daddy's talking. He's like, hey man, you can go get more money if you go to like Oregon or somewhere. Daddy's talking into his ear because daddy's trying to get that paycheck.
Well, I think where we've landed is that there's no. I mean, there are licensed agents handling these affairs, but I think that at some point where we've landed, we've got the quote unquote street agent / trainer in the kid's ear. You have a lot of people pulling these kids in the wrong directions, but I think that no matter where Nico goes, the problem you're going to run into is if he balls out, he's going to probably be a first round pick because
that is true. Because the NFL, yeah.
The NFL being a quarterback league like it has been, they'll look the other way on certain guys. Like Anthony Richardson, Jamarcus Russell. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Oh, it's a big list, dude. It's a big list, and it's always funny. Next year, I guarantee we're going to be hearing about Nico. We're going to be hearing about how well his arm strength is and all this and that.
I mean,
but
from a talent and fundamental standpoint, I've talked to a couple former coaches that say, he didn't play that great at Tennessee, but the facts are the facts with his fundamentals and traits. He's a first-round talent. It's hard to argue that, because if you look at the class that is going to be coming out, is he any better than Drew Aller? Drew Aller didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver in the biggest game of the year.
But I mean, what does that tell you about quarterback play, though, Duke? Look how it's fallen off.
Oh, it's fallen off a cliff. I mean, you always get those guys that emerge.
Yeah.
Throughout the time, and it's just at the point that there's a lot of things that stink about the Nico situation, and I don't think some of these kids in the college realm and the moms and dads that are steering some of these decisions, the NFL does not care. They don't care what you did in college.
No, they want you to see how well you can take them to the playoffs and to hoist that Lombardi trophy. That's all it comes down to. And as we all know, that QB position is so important. But Duke, time and time again, like you just mentioned, quarterbacks, they're a dime a dozen. I mean, 2018, they had 4 quarterbacks in the first round. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me pull that up real quick.
It was Baker, Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar. If I'm right, I could be wrong.
And where we're trending for this whole situation is that if you look at how the quarterback position is just blatantly overdrafted, I don't think it's a coincidence of how that rolls. I mean, you go back to just last year, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, first 3 off the board.
Yeah.
And then you have J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. And I believe that is it for the first round on QBs. But, there's 5 right there in the first round. Just last year. And Michael Penix. I forgot about Big Penix Energy. And then, we roll back to 2013.
Dude, I don't think there was anybody in the first round.
No,
that was the worst quarterback class I could remember.
Hold on, let me look here.
They were trying to tout Gito as being a first rounder, and he didn't get drafted until the second round on day 2.
It won't let me go. I'm trying to get back there. As far as back as what this website's let me do is 2017. So you had Mitch Trubisky taken by the Bears. You had Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, and that was it. Those 3 guys in the first round.
In 2017, were we just talking about 2013?
Yeah, I thought 2013 was one of the bad drafts for QBs, and then
actually EJ Manuel was drafted out of Florida State by Buffalo. He was the 16th pick. Yeah, they didn't pick there wasn't a quarterback pick until Buffalo picked at 16.
So yeah, that's how far. Dave's here says, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but 22 is, a proof of concept. There's no QB selected all the way until Kenny Pickett, 20th overall to the Steelers in 22. And as I'm skimming through the 22 draft, I don't think there's anybody that's really at the quarterback position hit it out of the park because there was nobody selected in the second round at QB. I'm digging here as fast as I can, but Malik Willis.
There wasn't a third round by the Titans.
And then Matt Corral.
Who's now in the UFL. I think he's playing with Birmingham.
So I don't know.
I think Matt Corral, was he a second rounder?
No, he was a third rounder at the end of the third round.
Oh, okay.
So 22, I mean, is a land of misfit toys. And yeah, Dave's here says, yeah, it was a stretch for Pittsburgh big time. So I think the Nico stuff, I'm not saying it's wait and see, but, you know, if he goes somewhere that has resources that can put a decent team around him, he can elevate his draft stock by off of one good year.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, you know, the money and what they're quote unquote commanding.
Yeah. You took the word out of my mouth, commanding. Yep.
And I've also heard some things to where that the NIL contract was for 13 games, not 16.
Ooh.
So that is also another problem. I think that the language and how these contracts are wrote, if there's anything that's even binding, I know the House versus NCAA settlement is, I don't think that's far from over. I know me and Carter talked about that yesterday, but I forgot about this. This past December, cats like Nico almost held out of playoff games because they were trying to renegotiate contracts. I don't think Josh Pate would say that if it wasn't true. In my opinion, I don't think Pate would bring that up if it was not true at all. I think that where we're heading is, I think we're going to see more of the same with this. I don't think that this is going to be out of the realm of possibility to see this every year going towards the playoffs and thinking that, you know, if you have the leverage, you're going to use the leverage.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the new opt-out, Duke.
I wouldn't be shocked if you don't start seeing guys sit out of playoff games. And, you know, you're creating a culture.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And right now they're creating a culture of, well, they don't want to play in the college football playoff. They don't want to play in the NFL, but they want paid. No one wants to play anymore. It's going to be
nobody wants to work, Duke.
I think that that's a major problem here. There's a lot of it because you see it in the NFL. Look at the injury report for practices and participants each week around the league. I get it, you know, some guys are legit injured, but at a certain point, you know, I mean, you can't even get guys to practice anymore. And what makes you think they're going to want to play in the college football playoff? You've seen what the bowl games look like. I'm sure ESPN is not going to negotiate a bowl game package like that anymore.
Sooner or later, we're not going to be having bowl season because the guys aren't going to be wanting to be playing.
And, you know, I think that it's something that
sucks because I love bowl season, but
it used to be fun.
Oh, it used to be great. I used to look forward to all those, you know, those wild. What was it? The Cheez-It Bowl. There was what was the one that always started? The New Mexico Bowl would always start like that third week in December. It's like, oh, bowl season's here. And then all of a sudden, it's just with these guys opting out. It's not even. It's like you said, Duke. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable to watch anymore.
Now, I will agree with Dave's statement here. I don't know, but see, Dave, this is when you talk about the portal. The issue I have is the Xavier Lucas kid in Wisconsin. Wisconsin was not going to let him enter the portal, and he's challenging, does the portal even exist if he wants to withdraw from school and they'll let him re-enroll at Miami. I believe he's at Miami right now.
Nico's at Miami right now?
Yeah, I think the Lucas kid is at Miami because
the Lucas kid
Xavier
from Wisconsin.
Lucas. Yeah, because the Wisconsin told him he couldn't enter the portal, and he said, well, his agent said, well, let's think about this for a minute, and withdrew from school and re-enrolled at Miami, and I believe he's going to get deemed eligible because I think legally the portal is kind of, or any rules on the portal is kind of, it's outdated from when they put the portal in place. Everything's outdated now. Yep. And I think at the next school, whether Nico goes in he's either going to go to the Big Ten or the ACC, and I think some of these Big Ten schools got money to spend. And you got Maryland. I think SC.
You know what? That and UNC, North Carolina, they popped in my head before you showed that list. I had a feel. I'm like, I wonder if you went like when you said ACC. I was like, I wonder if Belichick will try to lure him.
But here's the thing. I think On3 might have reported. Producer Ed might look into this. I think North Carolina's out on Nico. And I think USC is out on Nico. So I think it's UCLA or Maryland. So I wouldn't be shocked if Loxley takes him. Even if it's at a discounted rate, he goes, balls out, gets drafted in the first round. So what did Nico really lose?
Nothing. It's a win-win for him.
So what was Tennessee's leverage in the first place by not paying him? But I think they set a good precedent by not paying him.
Oh yeah, they definitely put, hey, we're not be paying you this much. You can go, like I said, kick rocks, but. Oh man, it's all gotten ugly in the last couple of years, Duke.
Well, I don't think that the NIL thing is bad. I just don't know how you try to. I hear everybody saying you got to put guardrails on it, but what guardrails are you going to put on somebody that wants to pay somebody? Like on the podcast, if I want to pay you $20 million a year, there's going to be no outside agency saying, well, I'm sorry, you can't pay Richie that, he's
unless Duke, they get a collective bargaining agreement. But again, you're going to have to treat them like employees, and they got to fill out W-2s, put in union dues, all that shit.
So I don't know how you try to organize 20,000 college football players and the guys at the top of the food chain that are coming in. How do you set a precedent for a kid in this day and age that's in 8th grade right now? You're going to tell me that in 8 years that he's going to be worth X amount of dollars? It's not the same thing.
What do you think Baby Gronk's NIL package would be?
I don't think I'll make this bold prediction. I'll be really shocked if Baby Gronk plays just short of Zach Smith and Carter Smith growing full heads of hair again without going to Turkey. I think that's about the likability of Baby Gronk playing at Georgia or LSU or anything like that. And plus, I mean, realistically, the guy that is his father, I'm not trying to bury the kid too much, has turned it into an absolute utter sideshow. And you got people throwing. I seen a video of people throwing things at him at a high school. So what do you think that kid's stuff's going to – what do you think his high school football career is going to be? I don't know. The kid's he's like in 5th grade.
Is he in 5th grade? I mean, I've seen pictures. The kid looks like he's on TRT and Trend and all that stuff.
What was who Baby Gronk reminds me of?
Who?
What was that kid's name on that show?
Spike from Little Giants?
No, the QB1 show. Tate Martell.
Yeah, Tate Martell, yeah.
Tate Martell was going to be the next Tim Tebow, as I was told. Tate Martell had a, impressive sitting on the bench career. I hate to bury that kid, but I guess he's raising $12 million at his company, and hey, good for you, man.
Hey.
But one last thing here before we do the reset. Dave's here's got a comment. Yeah, the collective bargaining front is, I've went through an organizing campaign before, and it's a very interesting time. The schools aren't going to want it. They're not going to want it because they're going to want pension plans. They're going to want health care. They're going to want the full nine. And I think,
you got it. Days off, this, that, the other, step increase, all that.
So I just don't know, but we're 20 minutes in. So with that being said, everybody hit that like and subscribe. If you like college football, hit that like button. But producer Ed's going to punch up a ad for our sponsor. If he can get that rolling.
Guys, if you have been watching the show for a while, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time with ALP pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches, and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength, and amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard.
All right. I think we're back now. Sid has a comment here. What's up, Sid? But before we get into another topic here, I just was thinking about something that I had seen a lot of buzz on today. Rich, Colorado is retiring Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders' jerseys. What are your thoughts on that?
I have mixed emotions on that. Yes, they rose. I would say they kind of brought Colorado into conversations. Have they brought him back to relevancy? I wouldn't say yes, but they did get it. They did produce a Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter this year. So the one jersey I would have retired would be Travis Hunter. Shedeur, he's good, but with the stats and the records that they had, the 2 years, what were they? 13 and 12, Duke.
They were 13 and 12.
So it's kind of tough. I'd say it's a little premature to retire Shedeur's number. They never retired Cordell Stewart's. They never retired Rashawn Salam's number. Never retired Bieniemy's number. So I think it's a little premature.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to this, I get retiring Travis Hunter's jersey. He won a Heisman.
Right.
Now, Darian Hagan, national championship, 28-5, finished 5th in the 1989 Heisman Trophy voting, 2-time all-first team Big 8. His jersey not retired. Cordell Stewart, like you had mentioned, the enemy you had mentioned, Michael Westbrook, Philip Lindsay, Chris Brown. A lot of people in the Buff Nation are just kind of like, well, what the hell are we doing here?
And the other thing, so Islam is retired. Oh, I thought he wasn't. Rip.
I didn't think he was either, but that's just
yeah, like Cordell Stewart, like of all people, why isn't his number retired?
And I would think so. I would think, but
I mean, he beat Michigan on that Hail Mary pass.
yeah,
and he did have a pretty excuse me. He did have a pretty decent. I wouldn't say decent. A good career in the NFL.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes out there that are showing the Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, their jersey numbers in the rafters with a banner that says "Lost the Alamo Bowl."
They lost the Alamo.
And seeing some stuff today that Tulane is also out on Nico. So John Summerall and the Green Wave apparently passing on Nico.
Man.
So,
Ooh.
But I guess we'll.
I mean, where do you think? Where do you think he's going to land, Duke?
Shedeur?
No, not Shedeur. Nico.
Nico, Maryland or UCLA, but I don't know. I don't know if UCLA can raise $4 million in NIL money.
No.
That's what it comes down to, in my opinion.
All about the dollars and cents, Duke. All about the dollars and cents.
I mean, if it's all about money, can Maryland step up and?
I think Under Armour's founder would do something kind of like what Phil Knight would do, try to get him in there.
But for 1 year, though.
Oh yeah, come on, Duke.
Yeah, I just think it's a whole bizarre thing. And then one other side note that I have that I have on this, the Silver Bulletin put it out that Ross Bjork is working with the networks to get Ohio State more night games. Doesn't that just sound bizarre?
Sounds so weird. And it pisses me off.
So
I'm so sick of noon games. God, am I sick of noon games?
I look at that and I just think to myself, I'm like, it's not the best here what we got rolling on the Big Ten model. But hey, they think Notre Dame should join the Big Ten and play Minnesota at noon because that will draw eyeballs.
They should.
I don't see the tangible value in it.
Oh, come on, Duke. Big Ten, Notre Dame. Come on.
Because if you take Ohio State and Penn State out of the Notre Dame out of the Big Ten, it's the ACC.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, are some of the teams really that much better than what's in the ACC? So you mean to tell me Rutgers moves the needle, Nebraska's moving the needle?
Row the boat, baby.
I think of some of these schools, like if Minnesota loses like PJ Fleck, like they go back to the shadow realm. It's been a long time since Glenn Mason was there, so I don't see how. It's just very, very puzzling to me, but yeah, I get it, Dave, but really no one wants to see the games at noon. That's the problem. Like 3:30 is even better.
Oh, 3:30 is great. I love 3:30 games.
like for Indiana versus Northwestern, yeah, I just you look at the slate of games, and like Michigan State played Central Michigan at night on what was that, Fox?
Yeah.
Just very bizarre. But moving on, we'll throw this list up there: the top 10 quarterbacks in college football for this season. Real quick here, Dave does make a good point. Michigan is every bit Indy, OSU, Michigan get all those other teams paid. Yeah, I agree. I think that if they would just start shutting off the faucet to the Purdues of the world, I mean, Indiana's starting to spend some money, but I think that that's something. But the top quarterbacks in college football in coming back this year, I think is a very, very interesting list. Cade Klubnik, I believe, is at the top of that list.
What's his stats last year? He's gonna be a name everyone's gonna be talking about next year come this time of the year.
Yeah, so Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Sawyer Robinson, Sam Levet, John Meter. I don't know why Hayes King is so high on this list.
Well, because they beat Miami.
I think DJ Lagway needs to go up. Lenore Sellers needs to go up. I wouldn't even have Carson Beck on this list. I think I would probably put Arch Manning on this list. I'd put Arch Manning on this list. Lagway needs to be higher. And I would have Luke Altmaier from Illinois on this list.
I don't disagree with that.
Exactly.
But Sawyer Robertson, like who? Yeah, said like who is this kid? I never heard of him.
I mean, it's just that I don't think anything that Baylor's going to do this year. Dave Aranda, if he didn't win 8 games like he did this year, he would have got fired. But with the revenue sharing, that's why the coaching carousel was so slow. But is there anything? And it's Danny Cannell's list, so. Sometimes I agree with some things Danny Cannell says, and other times I don't. I think I would have Alder a little bit higher, but I wouldn't have. I think you could make the argument of throwing Nico on there just off of projection. You nothing on Nico? You don't think Nico would project onto this list?
I don't think so.
I think, you talk about the top 3 guys, I think are Cade Klubnik, Nussmeier, Lagway. But I think Luke Altmaier is going to have a sneaky good year at Illinois. I think Illinois is going to be really good.
Yeah, they're going to be tough. I mean, they had what? Was it a 9-1 season?
Yeah, they won. They won 9 games. So I mean,
they got Burt. So we'll see how they do with recruiting.
And I don't know if Burt's going to stay in Champaign, but I think as soon as Ferentz retires, I think Burt is going to not Wisconsin. I think Burt will go to Iowa. Maybe. I don't know. He might like it.
What's your hunch?
My hunch, I think he'll either end up at Iowa or possibility. If Fickle craters this year, I think they fire him.
And goes back to Wisconsin.
I mean, if you're Wisconsin, I think that's a better option. He's been there before, has won there. I don't think you're getting a better candidate.
No.
So I wouldn't be shocked if Bielema ends up back at Wisconsin. I think that's something that could be talked about. And it's just, well, Sid says Fickle has tanked. I mean, look at how smart Notre Dame looks by not hiring Luke Fickle. It just
geniuses.
I mean, Marcus Freeman has worked out. Going into the national championship game, he's done more than Brian Kelly has in 3 years than Brian Kelly did in a decade. So I think that's something to be said. But also moving on, we got Max Crosby going to be an assistant general manager at Eastern Michigan. What are your thoughts on this active NFL player getting involved?
Maction, baby. That I did come across that on the Twitterverse. Can they do that? I mean, are they allowed to do that?
I don't see how I don't see why I don't see how he couldn't. Sid says, I wanted Fickle. I'm an idiot. But yeah, the Max Crosby thing, I find that very interesting to see if, maybe he can get some guys there and recruit some guys and see how that's going. And Dave's here. Harbaugh coached QBs with his dad while playing. I believe that is true. When where his dad coach. Dave's here, says thought Fickle was a can't miss. Yeah, so I know we got the Max Crosby thing up, and I think that's very, very interesting. Good luck to Max Crosby and Eastern Michigan. That's a tough place to be, being in the MAC. But one of the things
nothing's tougher than Kent State.
Yeah, speaking of that, we got a little time before the break, Rich. What's going on over there?
They're going to go hire Josh Cribbs. It's going to happen. Julian Edelman, QB/wideouts coach. It's going to be a match made in heaven.
I think Julian Edelman would probably make more money. Being doing podcasting.
It'd be something for like shits and giggles. Why not? Something to do.
So I don't think that is the end of the world. So that's just something to look at. I think that it's a good idea for them to hire Josh Cribbs. I mean, it can't get any worse. It worked out in Colorado. I mean, they were literally at the point to where it couldn't get any worse.
I mean, Colorado, they haven't been relevant since
the early 2000s.
The early 2000s, because didn't they beat?
They had a good
Nebraska. They
had one good year under Mel Tucker, but I think that was pre-meeting Brenda Tracy. So,
you know where he's at.
Mel Tucker is the last time I looked into that story. Mel Tucker is actually dodging Brenda Tracy's lawyers because they're trying to serve him for a lawsuit.
Yeah,
and so he just has been ducking and dodging them. So I think he's in hiding. So we'll see how or maybe it's his wife or soon to be ex-wife, but who knows how that Mel Tucker saga is going to pan out.
He's off the grid, Duke.
I mean, yeah, he is very much off the grid. So, real quick, this side note, talk about running it into the ground. The Phoenix Suns are currently, they fired Mike Budenhauser. I think that's that is his name, Budenhauser. They still owe Monty Williams $20 million, Frank Vogel $25 million, and they owe the new coach. They're paying the new owner of the Suns is currently paying $80 million in coaching buyouts from firing guys.
Jeez.
So I think the Phoenix Suns are are having some problems there, but we got one more quick topic. Everybody out there watching, if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, join the conversation. We got Dave and Sid in here. Carter occasionally chiming in, but hit that like and subscribe button. Smash the bell notifications. If you like this show and you like college football, hit the like button and subscribe. So one last thing before we get into the Bubba Frazier commitment. The top 10 heated rivalries in college sports. If we can get that graphic pulled up. I believe Ohio State, Michigan is one.
Number 2 is Kent State, Akron.
Kent State, Akron. Oh, man. Kent State, Akron. Wow.
The wagon wheel, baby.
The wagon wheel as we get this punched up. Are you shocked to see Duke, North Carolina basketball as number 2?
No, I'm not sure. No, because that's to me that's the equivalency to Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah, basketball wise, you got Army, Navy. Don't disagree. Auburn, Alabama. The Red River used to be shootout. The Red River shootout. It's now the rivalry because of not going there, but
yeah.
No USC, ND. Yeah, I get that, Sid. Alabama.
I gotta find it.
Alabama, LSU. The Egg Bowl on there. Ole Miss State, and then Louisville, Kentucky. I don't think that the last couple of years that's been much of a rivalry, just for the simple fact of Kentucky's been smashing them. And then Georgia, Florida, and then Pitt, West Virginia.
The backyard brawl.
Yeah, the backyard brawl, X of the Big East, X of that parish. I think that those are all very compelling games. I think Pitt, West Virginia needs to play, and I think Pitt, Penn State needs to play. I think James Franklin is absolutely terrified of going down to Acrisure Stadium and losing to Pitt, and then that's just one of those deals there. I think that, one of the other things too is that I think that Pitt, Penn State needs to happen more often.
I agree with that. That's kind of an interstate rivalry that I would like to see more of too, Duke, because Penn State is essentially the big brother in that state of Pennsylvania. It would just it would be nice to see that rivalry reignited.
Yeah, and then also Dave's here. You got Michigan, Notre Dame. I would agree.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I wish they would be playing.
And I think you need to bring back Michigan State, Notre Dame as well.
I agree.
So I don't think that, where we're sitting here is a bad thing. I think I think Notre Dame and Penn State should play more. I think that would also help, that it's good for both schools, with the playoff format that helps both schools in a win or loss.
Yeah.
So I think that, one of the things that we're doing is, a pretty good thing. And just, we'll get into it now, I guess. Bubba Frazier, a 4-star wide receiver out of a military school in Savannah, Georgia, has committed to the Irish. Do you think Notre Dame is righting the wrongs? 2026 kid, do you think Notre Dame is righting the wrongs of the wide receiver recruiting issues?
I think they're starting to address it. Excuse me, dude.
Yo, you're all right, man. A 5'9" kid named Bubba. Yeah. Some places have him 5'9", some places have him 5'10", but The kid also, he had offers at Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Frazier is the 11th commitment in Notre Dame's 2026 class, which is currently third nationally by 247 Sports. I know a lot of people hate 247, but, explosion, athleticism, and versatility, he chooses the Irish over those schools that we have previously named. Do you think that this moves the needle in South Bend?
Yes. When was the last great wide receiver at Notre Dame? Michael Floyd?
Yeah, Michael Floyd, Chase Claypool.
Jeff Samardzija. But Jeff Samardzija didn't get drafted in the NFL. I think he went and pitched at Chicago.
Yeah, Samardzija chose to play baseball, which was kind of smart.
I like Samardzija. I really, when I was in college, they scored again. Yeah. I thought he was a good wideout.
Yeah, Samardzija was good. He was a solid dude. So
yeah,
I think that that's one of the things that I think that Mike Brown and the staff there are getting rectified. I think, when they played Ohio State, I think it was kind of like a shock and awe. You see those guys like Jeremiah Smith, and you're like, hey, we need to get us some of those dudes that help. And then Dave's here with the comment, nah, those dudes weren't great, but Tim Brown and Rocket were great. Well, yeah. I don't know if Samardzija ended up boxing, but Notre Dame kind of turned into tight end U there for a little bit. So,
Tom Zivakowski.
Yeah, so that's
damn. I heard he did some boxing. Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, that's a fascinating thought there. It just, looking at it from hindsight is 2020. I think that, this just in. I guess I know this as we're talking about recruiting, the kid out of South Alabama is getting linked to North Carolina, Gio Lopez. I would have thought they would have kept him at Mobile. There's, quite a bit of money down there, but I would have thought they would have kept him. But I think that, back on the Notre Dame front, I think that this helps. I think they need to land in the next two recruiting cycles are very crucial on them landing top flight athletes.
I would say because that really put them in contention, on the upper echelon with Ohio State and Georgia and I can't think right now. Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
In the terms of recruiting at the wideout position.
Yeah, I mean it's Ohio State.
Georgia. Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even really talk about it, but Rich, did you go attend the spring celebration is what we were told it was going to be, and then Ohio State did 180 on it and said no, it's going to be a spring game?
I did not. I wouldn't have gone because 1, it was too freaking ass cold outside, and 3, we had Quinny's early birthday party.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Yeah. So
I think that
I watched some of it, but I'm like, the spring games don't have that allure to me anymore, like they used to.
Not like the UFL does.
Hey, you know what? I gotta say, the Stallions, they're on a winning streak now. They got one last weekend. I'm happy. They should have won. They should be 3-0. Don't get me started on that.
Well, Rich, I know that the UFL viewership is all you and your 50th closest friends that are watching that.
Hey, you know what? It's football. It's all I care about.
It's one of those things. And then also 9 days away from the NFL draft, we'll get this in real quick. Do you have a Do you have anybody that Tampa Bay you think is going to be targeting in the NFL draft?
I know what I would do if I was Jason Light. I would say they need an edge rusher. I've been seeing that. Jihad Campbell is getting mocked to him, but Mike's getting up there. Mike Evans is getting up there. He's in his 12th season. I think they got to get another wideout, and I would love to see if they could at least draft a damn Buckeye in Tampa. That's what I would love to see happen. Anybody, even a punter. Well, I don't think the punter can, but I really would like to see Ibuka get down there in Tampa with Baker, because Baker's kind of getting a second life down there, Duke. Wouldn't you have to agree?
Oh, yeah. I think it'll be interesting looking to see how Baker is post the Liam Cohen era. Also on the Buccaneers front, is there anybody that do you think Tampa Bay will trade up?
I don't think they'll trade up. I think they might trade. They could trade I could see them trading their first round pick for multiple picks in the second round, and get somebody's first round next year.
And thoughts on the Ohio State rings? What were your thoughts on the national championship rings?
Oh, they were beautiful. I mean, but you can't wear those things out. They're all like I saw some of the players, all three of them. The rings were too damn big on their fingers. You can't wear those things out.
Yeah, I think the championship rings were. I thought they were really well made. I believe Jostens made those.
Yes, Jostens did make those. They put the confetti in them. They put a cross in there because that was the team's message. That was their mantra this year, and I thought all three of the rings were great.
Yeah, I think that that's something to be said. I thought that, as a whole, I thought they did a really good job with the whole thing. Something else that I was going to ask you, an NFL-related topic. Do you find it odd the Miami Dolphins are trying to trade Jalen Ramsey?
When did he get drafted, Duke? 2016. That was 2016. So he's a 9-year vet, Duke.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be hard to move him, and then also
you're not going to get much. You're not going to get much for him. You might get like a 6th rounder for him.
Yeah, that might be something. I don't know. I think he might be a draft day trade, and then one last thing before we wrap up. We got 7 minutes left. The most hated guy in the NBA, Nico Harris.
Who?
Nico Harris, the Mavericks GM.
Oh, I don't know who the hell that is.
He's the guy that traded Luka.
Yeah.
Not only does he just antagonize the fans after every time he's shown on the Jumbotron, they boo him and chant fire Nico.
They're moving to Las Vegas. Let's just call it for what it is.
Oh, I think so too. I think they're going to move to Vegas. They've already got the infrastructure there. They put the WNBA team to see what the ticket numbers would do, and it's just I think that all roads lead to Vegas.
Did you watch the WNBA draft last night? I didn't even know what was going on.
I just knew I seen an update I seen it on Twitter that Paige Beckers drafted number 1 overall. So good for Paige Beckers, and I wouldn't be shocked. But Nico, not only being the most hated man in the NBA, doubles down and says he regrets nothing about trading Luka Doncic. Like,
fire his ass. Just fire him.
But I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's like the Titans GM trading AJ Brown and they draft what's his name? Traylon Burks out of Arkansas. Like, Look what AJ Brown has done when he got traded to Philly. That was the dumbest bonehead move a GM could make.
Oh yeah, I just seen that, and I'm just thinking to myself,
like, Duke, what are these GMs thinking when they're making these trades and these these acquisitions? It's like Matthew Berry. I mean, he's fighting for his life like R. Kelly on the with his trade with this season coming up with the Browns.
right? It's right here. I want to apologize for absolutely nothing. So I think Sid hits the nail on the head there. It's very, very strange, and then the Ravens are a non-committal. I just seen this. The Ravens are a non-committal on Mark Andrews being back with the team.
Whoa.
So does that mean Mark Andrews might get dealt draft day, and the Ravens are potentially looking to move up?
You would trade a first-round pick for a tight end?
Second-round pick.
I'd give a third.
It depends on perspective and what you need, and if let's be real here. Let's say somebody
who needs a tight end first?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the rosters, but Tampa Bay,
they don't need a tight end. Cade, when Mike and Chris went down, Cade was Baker's leading wideout or receiver in receptions.
But somebody like Carolina could use the tight end. New Orleans, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
If he goes to New Orleans, he might as well just hang it up because they ain't gonna be shit for the next 5 years.
I don't know. They're thinking that the Saints might jump up and draft Jackson Dart. And, if I'm Jackson Dart, it would be like, I'd be calling Lane Kiffin and be like, hey, you think I could maybe try to file and see if I can get some more eligibility? I mean, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I do not know.
Saints are going to tank. They're going to draft Arch next year, first number 1 overall.
Do you know the last time they drafted a quarterback in the first round? Do you know who that player was? When I tell you, you're going to be like, you're joking, and you're going to be all over the Google machine for the next 15 minutes trying to debunk it, but it's fact.
It wasn't Aaron Brooks.
Nope. Who was the last quarterback the Saints drafted in the first round? Drum roll. It was. Huh?
Arch Manning?
Yes, Archibald Manning.
Yeah.
When Carter hears that, he's going to be like, well, it's the Saints, but we're up against it. We gave you guys almost an hour tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to have more of this coming down the pike. We're getting closer. The NFL draft, I believe, is 9 days away. So we're going to be closing in on the draft. The transfer portal window, I believe, opens Wednesday. I wouldn't be shocked if I heard on another show that Nico is going to McCready and Siskis. On that show, Tyler broke that he believes that Nico is going to enter the transfer portal with a no contact.
There's going to be contact.
Well, I think that it's going to be from outside schools that can't contact him, but I don't even know how that's even going to work out. They're still talking about rambling about salary caps, and other shows are out there talking about there's going to be a $20 million salary cap. Me and Carter had that conversation yesterday. I think that it's you can't do it, but what do I know? I'm just a
You're just a football podcaster.
Yeah, this is some interesting stuff. Pretty interesting thing that Zach Smith just retweeted. I have to check that out. But
exactly your old tweet.
But that is where we're at. I think tomorrow, because of the way the things are going to roll with my schedule, I'm going to have to roll Steel City early. So be looking for that bright and early. It might be a super early show just to get it in, get it out of the way, and see what we have going. So, but with that being said, we've reached the hour limit, and we'll let everybody get out of here. So we will talk to everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.